All right, guys, how's it going out there? Fishing California with EBA. Today, we're talking all about fishing. That's right. We're talking about Kevin Van Damme. Is Kevin Van Damme the greatest crankbait fisherman of all time? Is he the greatest of all time? When it comes to cranking, who knows it better than KVD, right? I mean, this guy is an ambassador for the sport, but everywhere you go, you're going to see KVD. Um, you know, KVD tackle, KVD lures, KVD rods, KVD sponsored reels. You're gonna, Kevin Van Dam is essentially, he's a staple in the fishing industry. He is absolutely one of these pillars that helped really get bass fishing more exposure. This is one of those guys that went out there and fished fast a lot of the time, fished with, covering water, getting those reactions, getting a fish to react. That's Kevin Van Dam all day. And everybody did it their way, and Kevin Van Dam did it his way. And he did it in all different types of conditions. So whether it was the winter, the fall, the summer, the spring, it was spawn, it was post spawn, or these fish were suspended out in the middle of nowhere. Kevin Van Dam figured it out, and he figured it out with crankbaits, and he did it all year long. Now, there's a variety of different crankbaits. Some people get really caught up and say, "Well, a crankbait's a square bill." It's like, no, it's a lipless. No, it's a jerkbait. No, it's a mid diving crankbait, or a deep dive, or it's a wake bait. I mean, listen, a crankbait's all those things. But it's all those things, and Kevin Van Dam was able to utilize those lures, which all identify as a crankbait, but use them in different ways, get more out of the bait, do different things to create reactions, and ultimately just be one of the greatest crankbait fishermen of all time. I really think he might be the greatest. He's got more times put into that particular niche, how to get this to do this and how to get more out of that, and why I'm going to go ahead and try. I know Kevin Van Dam was sitting in the garage or sitting around in hotel rooms and just tinkering constantly with his crankbaits, tinkering with the terminal tackle, the heavy wire, light wire hooks, the split rings, diameter of the split rings, every little thing you can imagine, to get that extra bite, to get that lure to perform and get that reaction from that bass, from that fish. And Kevin Van Dam's been doing it for years, guys. I think he's, the greatest crankbait fisherman of all time. I mean, I hate to throw it out there, but I really do. I think he's been able to do it all across the country in all different conditions, all different seasons, at different lakes, and he's been able to do it for 30 years. I mean, who can say that, right? He's won all kinds of championships and titles. The guy has made his mark. The guy is a fundamental key aspect of the bass fishing world that we know today. As like I said, he was a huge part of the media, mainstream, getting people everywhere across the country to get into bass fishing at a different level, to go buy a Strike King KVD spinnerbait or crankbait or whatnot, getting them, obviously Strike King is one of the many people that have used Kevin Van Dam to promote their products, to sell their products, to market their products, and ultimately to get us to buy their product. So Kevin Van Dam, guys, one of the greatest anglers of all time, for sure. Definitely one of the greatest ambassadors of the sport. Arguably the greatest, but one of the greatest. The man has done it all for 30 years. Longer than that, actually, because, he was fishing before that. But it's just the guy's been doing it for a long time. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. Do you think he's the greatest? Do you think he's just another crankbait fisherman? Why was he able to do what he did? Is it more because the fish, we know as the further you go back, Kevin Van Dam, fishing a crankbait, you know, what's your opinion on this, guys? You let me know. I think he's one of the greats. I think he's one of the greats. I think he's one of the greatest of all time. I think he's made his mark. I think he's done all needs to do. And I think at this point, all he can do is, he can do no wrong. He can do nothing except more good, and just bring more exposure to the sport and get people, fishing. A lot of times crankbait fishing is a lot of fun. You're getting out there, you're casting and cranking, you're winding, and you're just, you're chucking and winding, you're covering water. But it's a very fast-paced technique. It requires an intensity that, say, drop shotting does not. Drop shotting requires more of a meticulous, methodical, okay, this, that, okay, real finessey, right? And this is the opposite. This is like real high speed energy. You got to cast and crank, you got to wind and grind, you got to keep going. And, you're going to have your trolling motor on a 4 to a 6, and you're just going to cover water, right? Until, someone like Kevin Van Damme comes along, and this guy's going to cover water in a different way, fish it the way maybe you fish it, the way this guy fishes it, the way the guy over there fishes it, and everything else that, we can't even, it's hard because you got to put your time in. Kevin Van Dam has done that, so I'm giving him credit. Greatest of all time, crankbait fisherman. You give me your thoughts. Tell me what you think down below. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button, smash that button. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate you, Kevin Van Dam. Been using your products for years. Love your stuff. Good fun. Lots of good memories, using your baits. Hey, we appreciate you. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned.